Dumela. O amohetse mo moketeng wa tsa bonono wa Freestata. I am Boitumelo Mohutiwa, and with me I've got Craig. Hi, Craig.
Hello, Boitie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Awesome. So you're here to tell us about your show, Johnny Boskak is Feeling Funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm very happy to be here in Bloem for the Vryfees.
Yeah.
I was here years ago. I was actually born in Bloem.
Oh.
So I'm coming home. It's quite nice.
This is home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm here with a one-man show called Johnny Boskak is Feeling Funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you please tell us a little bit about the show?
Of course.
Yeah.
The show was written by an amazing South African playwright, a guy called Greg Coetzee. He wrote the play way back in 2004 already. He performed in the show then, but I was very privileged to work with him sometime after that, and he said, I'd love you to do the show.
Oh.
So eventually in 2015, I got around to doing the show. So it's been up and running for about 2 years now.
Oh.
It's received numerous awards and nominations around South Africa. It's traveled overseas as well.
Nice.
But in a nutshell, it's about this guy, Johnny Boskak. He got given that nickname when he was in the army. Like many white South African men at that time of his generation, my generation, kind of 40s, 50s in age, we were legally required to go to the army. We were conscripted into the army.
Wow.
He was one of those guys. And like many people who went into the army in that time, left the army or survived the army but came out heavily damaged. You know, they were kind of compelled to be part of many atrocities as part of the apartheid regime.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he comes out and he's messed up and he becomes a hitchhiker, a drifter. And basically the whole play, what motivates him is to try and find redemption, forgiveness for these things that he's done. And he hits the road and he meets up with this girl, Eve, and they become these kind of Bonnie and Clyde characters.
Yeah.
You know, living on the fringes of society, not doing the nicest of things either, but ultimately searching for love and redemption.
Yeah.
The cool thing about the play is it's 75 minutes long, and the whole thing is in rhyme.
Oh.
So it's 75 minutes of rhyming couplets. It's insane. Some people have compared it to, it's an epic rock and roll poem. It's,
Ooh, that's a nice way to
very
describe
cool.
it.
Very, very cool. Yeah.
Very cool. So you're playing in the show.
That's right.
And you're directing the show as well with your wife.
Well, yes. My wife co-directed the show with myself. Well, she really was the director. I kind of threw in a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But interesting story about the show was Greg had approached me and said, listen, I'd love you to do the show. So I went to my wife and I said, well, let's do it. And she said, no, you're not ready. And this was in 2010, about 2010. And every year after that, I kept on coming back to her and said, listen, should we do this? And she just said, you're not ready. You're not old enough and you're not good enough.
Jeez.
And that went on for 4 years. In the 5th year, eventually I was trying to fill in forms for the National Arts Festival. And I went to her and I said, can we do it? And she said, yeah, now you're ready. And then we started on the process of bringing Johnny to life. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Sure. So you've been working on this for a while.
Well, it's been sitting in my brain for a while. It's been percolating there. But once we decided to pull the trigger, it was a 3-week process. I locked myself in my office for a week and got the words into my head.
Yeah.
You know, it's I think about between 8,000 and 10,000 words.
Yeah.
But it's all in rhyme. So that I did that for a week. And then 2 weeks after that, it took us to rehearse the piece and put it on the boards.
Wow.
And that went relatively quickly because for that 4 years of waiting, I had a lot of ideas sitting in my head. But then in that week of learning the lines as well, a lot of the ideas I had in terms of how to play and realize and create each of the different characters in the story started to emerge in my head. So once we started rehearsing, that kind of all happened quite quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Wow. Okay. So now, just give me an idea of how it is to actually work with your wife on a show. I mean,
Well,
she's
we've
insane.
worked on many productions. We like to say that our best productions that we worked on were our 2 sons. But yeah, so a lot of people struggle to work with somebody as close to them as their partner or whatever. And it's not easy. But the point is, what makes it work for us is honesty.
Yes.
You know. And this is with utmost respect to a lot of people I've worked with, other directors, but they kind of are a lot gentler and a lot more forgiving with kind of choices that you make in the creation process. Whereas because we're married, we've been together for over 2 decades, if I don't do my homework,
She'll tell you.
she'll just say, listen, I'm sorry, that's rubbish. Just go away and come back when you've done something that's worth my time. So we have a brutal honesty with each other, which yes can be difficult, but it means that the final product that we arrive at is the best that it's going to be.
Yes.
It's not kind of like, oh, it's okay. It's got to be the best of the best, and
Yeah.
that comes through in the piece. It's highly precise, highly detailed. This is what the audiences have been telling us over time, and it's that attention to detail, that clarity in the execution of the piece that is part of what makes it so special.
Oh. So you've said this show has gone around many places,
Yeah.
and has it already performed in Bloemfontein before?
No. So that's why I'm really excited. It's traveled everywhere, but it's kind of always hop, skipped, and jumped through Bloemfontein. But we've landed here now, which is lekker.
And what are you expecting from your audience, home audience?
I think Johnny actually travels through Bloemfontein in the play.
Oh, okay.
So what's quite interesting is he comes from KZN. He's a Durban boy. He ends up at the army in Oudtshoorn. He ends up at the border. But he travels all over South Africa, and he lands in these certain places. Certain places become quite a big part of his experience and his journey in the play. Bloemfontein being one of those places. So I think on that basis alone, audiences are going to recognize him.
Yeah.
Because, and also Tempe's here, the army base,
yes.
So there's a very strong kind of military strand of DNA in who he is. And I think a lot of people in the audiences are going to recognize Johnny, because I think there are a lot of people like Johnny that come through Bloemfontein or end up in Bloemfontein or have come from Bloemfontein. So, yeah, I think audiences are going to identify with him. They're going to identify with his story, and I think they're going to really love him. Not that he's a lovable character. He's a bit of a dangerous, scary guy.
Yeah.
But there's something about him that's quite endearing, and I think local audiences are going to get drawn to that.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
So could you please tell me when your show is actually showing at the Vrystaat Arts Festival?
Yes, so it's at the Skyno Theatre. It's tomorrow, the 9th. What is that? That's a Monday.
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 9th,
Yes.
10th, and 11th.
Yeah.
So tomorrow it's at 2 o'clock. On Tuesday it's at 8:30, and on Wednesday morning at 10.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Nice.
the show, the tickets, all of that information you can get on the website, obviously, Freyfair's website. And there's just one other thing. The show is PG-13. It's got some more adult-themed content to it.
Yes.
So, don't bring the little ones, because I think they'll get a bit freaked out.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much
Cool.
for telling us about the show.
Thank you, Boitumelo.
Thank
Thanks.
you for being here.
Cool.
And I wish you all the best with the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And that's all we have with Craig and his show, Johnny Boskak is Feeling Funny. Come find out why he's feeling funny and just come and enjoy the show here at Skyna. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Bye.